Tanjiro teaches that empathy isn't weakness, it's the hardest form of strength. He looks at demons and sees the people they used to be, offering kindness even as he strikes them down. Because compassion doesn't mean you stop fighting, it means you remember what you're fighting for. Nezuko teaches silent resistance. Stripped of her voice, her humanity, her ability to explain herself, she still chooses love over hunger. She proves that willpower doesn't need words, that sometimes the loudest thing you can do is refuse to become what the world expects. Zenitsu teaches that fear doesn't disqualify you from courage. He shakes, he cries, he runs, and then he fights anyway. His power awakens when he's unconscious, because bravery isn't the absence of terror. It's what you do when terror is all you feel. Inosuke teaches that aggression is often just unspoken pain. Raised by Boris, he mistakes violence for connection, until Tanjiro shows him softness. He learns to cry, to laugh, to care. Because vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the thing that makes strength worth having. Gyu teaches that guilt can become a prison. He survives when others die and decides he doesn't deserve to move forward. He isolates not because he's cold, but because he believes he's unworthy of warmth. And maybe that's the lesson, that self-forgiveness isn't selfish, it's survival. Shinobu teaches that smiling through pain is both strength and tragedy. She wears grace like armor, poisoning herself to kill the demon who destroyed her family. Her smile isn't fake, it's a weapon, a choice, a way to keep moving when standing still means drowning in rage. Rengoku teaches that passion means burning even when it costs you everything. He dies protecting strangers, his flame never dimming, not because he won, but because he chose devotion over survival. Because the point of fire isn't to last forever, it's to light something before it goes out. Tenjin teaches that knowing when to stop is its own form of courage. The flashiest Hashira retires not from weakness, but wisdom. He chooses his wives over glory, life over legend. Because real strength isn't proving you can keep going. It's knowing when you've already done enough. Muichiro teaches that memory shapes identity. He loses himself in fog until connection pulls him back. His brother's words, his purpose, his name. We are what we remember. And more importantly, we are who remembers us when we've forgotten ourselves. Mitsuri teaches that your difference is your power. She was mocked for her strength, her appetite, her appearance. She tried to shrink herself to fit someone else's idea of worthy. Then she stopped, because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you, unfiltered and unapologetic. Obanai teaches that you can love someone even when you hate yourself. He believes he's too stained, too broken, too marked by trauma to deserve Mitsuri. But he loves her anyway, because giving love doesn't require being healed first. Sometimes it's the thing that starts the healing. Guillaume teaches that faith is a choice, not a guarantee. Betrayed by children he protected, blinded and broken, he still chooses to believe in people. Not because the world earned it, but because bitterness would cost him more than hope ever could. Sanemi teaches that cruelty can be a twisted form of care. He stabs Nezuko, screams at Genya, pushes everyone away, not from hate, but from love he doesn't know how to hold gently. Because sometimes people damage what they're trying to protect. And that doesn't make the love less real, just more tragic. Muzan teaches that running from death means you never really live. He kills thousands, creates demons, destroys families, all to escape mortality. But immortality without meaning is just existence. He survives everything except the emptiness of a life spent hiding. Akaza teaches that strength without purpose is just motion. He fights endlessly, forgetting why he started. His wife, his humanity, the reason behind the power. And when he remembers, he realizes he's been punching at ghosts for centuries. Because what's the point of being unbeatable if you've lost what you were fighting for? Doma teaches that charm without feeling is just performance. He smiles, he comforts, he mimics emotion so perfectly that people believe it. But inside, nothing.
No joy, no pain, no connection. Just a script repeated until even he forgets it's empty. Because you can fake everything except the feeling of being real. Kokushibo teaches that envy is a poison that never stops spreading. He became a demon because his brother was better. Centuries later, he's still trapped in that comparison, still chasing a shadow. Because the cruelest prison isn't one someone else builds, it's the one you construct from your own inadequacy.
Gyutaro and Daki teach that love can trap you in suffering. Born into cruelty, they clung to each other so tightly they became each other's cage. They couldn't heal because healing meant letting go. And sometimes the hardest thing to accept is that the person you love most might be the anchor keeping you underwater. Rui teaches that you can't force belonging. He builds a family through fear, stitching people together with spider threads and torture. But connection can't be manufactured. You can make someone stay, you can make them obey, but you can't make them love you. Enmu teaches that delusion is easier than reality. He traps people in dreams where their pain doesn't exist, their dead are alive, their regrets erased. And some beg to stay asleep because facing life means facing loss. And sometimes the fantasy feels safer than the truth. Kanao teaches that healing means reclaiming your choices. Abused into silence, she lets a coin decide everything because deciding means risk. But Tanjiro tells her to choose, to want, to live beyond survival because agency isn't given back. It's taken, one terrifying decision at a time. Genya teaches that worth isn't about meeting someone else's standard. He can't use breathing techniques, so he eats demons to fight them. He's desperate to prove himself to a brother who won't look at him. But the tragedy is that he was always enough. He just needed someone to say it. Sabito and Makomo teach that impact outlives presence. They die protecting Tanjiro, but their lessons carry him through every fight. They're gone, but never absent, because the people who change you don't need to stay. They just need to matter. Kagaya teaches that true leadership is seeing people, not tools. He knows every core member's name, visits the injured, treats even demons as human before they became monsters. He doesn't command through power. He leads through empathy, because people don't follow strength. They follow someone who sees them. Tamayo teaches that it's never too late to change sides. She spent centuries as Muzan's pawn before breaking free, dedicating eternity to undoing the damage. Redemption doesn't erase the past, but choosing differently today is still a choice worth making. Yushiro teaches that love doesn't need reciprocation to be real. He devotes himself to Tamayo knowing she'll never feel the same, and he does it anyway. Not for reward, not for recognition, because love isn't transactional. Sometimes it's just the thing you give because withholding it would hurt more. Urodaki teaches that belief creates potential. He trains Tanjiro despite the odds, despite the risk, despite the doubt, because faith in someone isn't about knowing they'll succeed. It's about refusing to be the reason they don't try.